Welcome back to the Pylon YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike, and we got another first-round mock draft. A big trade happened today. I forget the details of said trade, but the Eagles traded with the Saints. I think they traded 2 of their first-round picks with the Saints this year, and got a ton of trades, ton of picks from the Saints for next year. They'll have 2 first-round picks next year for sure, and the Saints will have pennies for this year and next year. But with all that being said, let's go ahead against the mock draft. I've said this like 100 times, and I promise you it's going to happen. Just trying to find time. Fantasy stuff's coming. If you're looking for fantasy content in the meantime, I would check out BDGE. They are, like, in my opinion, probably the best. Well, it's tough, but they're like a top 3, I would say, for sure. Fantasy content creator. They just got a new office and everything. They're killing it. Great stuff over there. I'm trying to do some of that stuff here. And I have my, position rankings. I'm just waiting for pro days to finish so I can for some of the position groups, I'm going to start getting them out. Just need to find time to record those and like modify them for what happens with each team's pro day, or each prospect's pro day, I guess I should say. But with all of that, I got fresh haircut, faded up. Boy, did me right. Anything else happened in my life that's interesting? Not really. Cool. Anyways, let's go with the first pick. First pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I'm going to do, this is predictive. So what I predict they're going to do is go Aiden Hutchinson. So we're going to take Aiden Hutchinson. However, and this is a big however, I would not be surprised in the slightest bit at all. Nothing would surprise me if they picked Kayvon Thibodeau or Trayvon Walker. I just feel like Jacksonville, unless it's spelled out for them, does the dumbest stuff they possibly like. I think the perfect summarization literally happened like last week or the week before that. In what universe, like Doctor Strange could have looked at all of the potential outcomes. Do you ever pay Christian Kirk 81? Like, Christian Kirk has had 5 seasons in the NFL, I think, with 4 seasons in the NFL with 5 100-yard games. Don't think he's ever had, like, dude, like, what are you, like, what is that? I can't wrap my brain around that. Like, you could have signed Allen Robinson back to Jacksonville for, like, a fraction of that. And he's a better receiver at his age than Christian Kirk probably will ever be. And people could come at me. If you could defend Christian Kirk, actually, just please go ahead and comments. Defend Christian Kirk. Because, I mean, like, I would love to hear the explanation of why Christian Kirk is worth $81 million. Having 5 100. You know, like, anyway, we're going sidetracked. Anyway, I think, going to the Lions, I think that the Lions, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I think the Lions are actually building a very, very solid team. I think they're the 3rd best team in that division at the moment. Potentially the 2nd, depending on how the rest of Minnesota's offseason and draft goes. And how their coach does, because they do have a new head coach, and, you know, that could make or break a team, especially in today's NFL. I feel like people don't realize how important coaching is. Because, like, you can have a loaded roster, and if your coach sucks, you suck. Cough, cough, Arizona Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury. Like, God, that's another thing I can't wrap my brain around. That's something I think about at work a lot. Like, how do you rationalize paying Cliff Kingsbury when you have one of the most talented rosters in football and you have no playoff wins? Like, the dude didn't win with Patrick Mahomes in college. Now, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is the Patrick Mahomes in the NFL that he was in college, but, like, dude, like, what? I don't know. Anyway, Lions. I've seen people take Trayvon Walker here, and I don't, like, totally disagree with it. I think he has a better frame than Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think a lot of teams, like, a lot of buzz that I am kind of, like, really in the middle on, and I'll pick a side eventually. I'll say where I'm leaning after I give this little ramble. I've been seeing a lot of things from NFL executives that Kayvon Thibodeau might fall out of the first 10 picks. And the reason being is quote, he's more concerned about his brand than playing. And I think for some of these teams like the Jaguars or the Lions, that's not something you want for a franchise that's rebuilding. Like, you want locker room guys to help you get to that next level. You don't want a player who's going to be all about himself. That's not to knock his talent. I think he definitely is a top 1 or 2 talent pick if you're going edge. But for the like, I see where teams are coming from that are concerned about that. I also think that with Thibodeau, like I saw in the most recent CBS mock draft, they had Thibodeau going to the Ravens at 14, which is kind of crazy. Like, I feel like one of these teams would jump on him if he fell that far. But with the Lions, like, all that to say, I think this is a pick that could potentially be traded if someone's trying to get up to get Kayvon Thibodeau, even though there's the possibility, the very real possibility he may fall. But if teams don't want to risk that, they could jump up and get him. But this is a tough pick for me because I think Malik Willis is definitely in play. But at the same time, like I said at the beginning of this ramble, I think the Lions are the third best team in that division and can get better for this year to maybe become the second best team in that division. I just think with Aaron Rodgers, they're like, in Green Bay, nobody's going to beat Green Bay until he's gone. And I don't think Jared Goff's the quarterback to do it. And neither do I think Kirk Cousins is. Justin Fields, jury's still out. But as of right now, I think you take the best player available while also taking a position in need. That's why I really like Kyle Hamilton here, and I've been hammering Kyle Hamilton here for months, probably a month and a half now. I just think that, like, to spice it up a bit, I just gave all my explanation as to why they wouldn't take Kayvon Thibodeau. But we're trying to predict this pick, so that makes this a little bit more tough. I think Trayvon Walker has the more elite size, the more of an elite build than Ekwonu does. Trayvon Walker is 6'5", 270, like, he's a humongous athlete, like gigantic. That's why I really do think the Lions trade this pick. I just don't know with who. Like, maybe the Seahawks Atlanta wants to jump up for Malik, but I think there is an argument to be made that Atlanta will have the number 1 pick next year. Sorry, Falcons fans, it's just what I'm thinking about. I was talking to my brother about that this past weekend, and I think he's right. I think he's on to something. So, like, there's no reason for Atlanta to take a quarterback in a worse quarterback class than next year when they're going to be picking higher, if that is the case. So I guess with this pick, and if the sources or rumors are true, I think they do go Trayvon Walker here at pick 2. Edge is a position in need. Pretty deep safety class. You have the 32nd pick, so you basically have a shot at a safety that you would want, disregarding Kyle Hamilton. Pick 3 is the Texans, and I do think they take Ikem Ekwonu or Evan Neal. I think to make sure that you get a franchise tackle, you go Evan Neal, because with Ekwonu, there's the avenue you get a franchise tackle or at least a franchise guard, an elite franchise guard. But for Neal, you're gonna at the very least get an average tackle in the NFL. I don't think his floor is anything lower than an average tackle. His ceiling is, I don't know how high his ceiling is. He could potentially be the best tackle in the NFL if all things go according to what they need. And then Jets at pick 4. I don't think they're gonna go offensive line here. Just because every offseason, every move they've made so far has been on the offensive line. Their big signing was Laken Tomlinson from the 49ers. And I'm sure they would still hope for Mekhi Becton to break out, or not break out, but stay healthy in year 3, 4 for him. I'm kind of forgetting. And like they have pick 35 and 39, I think. So they definitely could address the offensive line in the second round. So for me, like, this pick is either Kayvon Thibodeau or Ahmad Gardner. And I think if you want to address the edge, like I think they need a premier dominant edge rusher to see, like, to tap into the ceiling of Keenan Williams. So And I do think like this cornerback class isn't that deep, but in the edge class is very deep. But I think the best edge rushers historically have been very, very focused in round 1 as opposed to 2nd through 7 rounds. So I'm going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau here. I think if he falls to 4, there's no way the Jets pass him, personally. And then with the Giants at pick 5, I think pick 5 or pick 7 is definitely a pick that could be traded for the Giants. I think they want to have as many draft picks as possible. At least I think that's what Joe Shane said in one of his interviews. So, just keep that in mind. But I think with this pick, I'm going to go with Akem. To me, he's probably a top 2 player in the draft, in my opinion. I think he's the OT1. I think he is my best player in the draft, to be honest. I just don't think, like, what he does, you can't teach. Like, even if he is just a guard, like, he can't play tackle at the next level, and the Giants will be putting him at right tackle, a position he has never played. He's the first freshman to ever start at NC State. He has been getting exponentially better and better each year. He's a redshirt sophomore. I think what he does is not teachable. It's not coachable. So to have him on the right side of Andrew Thomas or at left guard next to Andrew Thomas, like, the Giants are getting a pillar offensive lineman, which they desperately need here at pick 5. The Panthers at pick 6, I think Malik Willis, if I was drafting, would be my pick. But I think rumors and, there's a mosquito in here. Rumors and, I don't want to use the word trends, but like rumors and sources are claiming the Panthers are in love with Kenny Pickett. And like, I kind of think you run it with Sam Darnold and get Charles Cross here. However, I think for Matt Rule's job, he's going to be pushing for a quarterback, and I think he really likes Kenny Pickett. He was in love with Sam Darnold, and Kenny Pickett essentially is another Sam Darnold. Excuse me. So I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett here. And then pick 7 is the Giants, and I think this is either one of 3 players. It's either going to be Ahmad Gardner, Kyle Hamilton, or Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine Johnson is probably my edge 1 or 2. I think he is the most well-rounded, polished edge rusher in the class. Maybe behind Aiden Hutchinson. I think Aiden Hutchinson's ceiling's a lot higher. But Jermaine Johnson's floor is like miles ahead of Trayvon Walker's and Kayvon Thibodeau's. Because the argument to be made is Kayvon Thibodeau and Trayvon Walker's ceiling is crazy high, but they're very raw freak athletes that could potentially become a 15 double-digit sack guy in the NFL year in and year out. But the floor is maybe they're 6 sack guys. Like, you know what I mean? So I think with the Giants releasing Logan Ryan, safety is a huge need. I think if they trade James Bradbury, corner will be an even bigger need than potentially edge. I think tackle is their number 1 need, and then it's going to be quarterback edge or edge safety. So it's a tough pick. Because I want to go Sauce. I think that's the absolute right pick. But at the same time, they only have 1 safety rostered right now, I think, in Xavier McKinney. So I'm going to go with I'm going to take Ahmad Gardner. I just think with Wink Martindale being their defensive coordinator, you got to take someone who could play press man corner to work in that system. And then with the Falcons at pick 8, like I mentioned before, I think they're going to be picking number 1 overall or inside the top 3 next year, with Marcus Mariota being their starter and their whole roster essentially being potatoes, with Calvin Ridley not playing. I think their wide receiver depth, their wide receiver room right now is like Russell Gage. No, Russell Gage isn't even there anymore. It's Olamide Zaccheaus, Auden Tate, someone else. So I think they definitely need to go wide receiver here above everything else. So I'm gonna go with Drake London. I think Drake London might be the best receiver in the class. I think his ceiling is crazy. I think he might be the next Mike Evans. Like, that's his ceiling. And Mike Evans is what, 8 or 7 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. So, I mean, it's pretty pretty solid in the NFL. Pick 9 is the Seahawks. And to be honest with you, I don't even... Oh, it's Drew Lock. I was going to say, I don't even know who their quarterback is. This pick is definitely Malik Willis or Charles Cross. 100%. Predicting, I think you take Malik Willis. I think that the NFC West is absolutely loaded, and you're going to need a quarterback who could potentially rival Kyler Murray. And the other two quarterbacks there are Jimmy Garoppolo, potentially Trey Lance, or will be Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a really high ceiling. Kyler Murray, who's Kyler Murray, and then Matthew Stafford, who probably got about 3-4 years left in him. And I think, yeah, Charles Cross makes your team much better immediately, but Drew Lock's not going to win that division anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe they go. I think if things remain as they are currently, it will be Charles Cross potentially. But if they trade DK Metcalf, they might have this pick and the next pick from the Jets, and then maybe more. I mean, we just saw what the Dolphins gave up for Tyreek Hill. Yeah, so I mean the market's there, and then I think at pick 10. I think it's Kyle Hamilton or Charles Cross. I really do, and I've been saying this for a while. I love Charles Cross's fit in their system. I think they want to be a pass-first offense with Zach Wilson, and I think that makes the most sense. And Charles Cross fits that the best. Kyle Hamilton is probably the best player on the board, no question. You could also take Derek Stingley here or give Zach Wilson another weapon with Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. It's a tough pick. I'm going to take Kyle Hamilton. And here's my rationale. The offensive line class is very deep, and the wide receiver class is very deep. Safety class is deep, but Kyle Hamilton is like above and beyond the safety number one, and he might be the best player in the entire draft class, potentially. So, for me, I think the Jets should go best player available, and I think they will go best player available. I don't see them as a team who thinks they're ready to compete, but they are getting close. I truly believe the Jets are doing everything right to build this team up the right way. I think they need a tackle because I don't like Mekhi Becton. I don't trust Mekhi Becton. I never have. So I'm just going to throw that out there, but they could address that. They have 2 picks in the size of the top 40 in round 2. So they have 4 picks inside the top 40. Washington at pick 11. I think you don't think about this as Garrett Wilson. They need to get Terry McLaurin help. They also need to get Carson Wentz help. But anyway, who are you? Vikings at pick 12. I'm going to go with Derek Stingley. I think I'm very excited to see how Derek Stingley tests. I've been in Derek Stingley's corner this entire time. I think he's a crazy athlete. I think he's a crazy corner. I think he's kind of getting the extreme Kayvon Thibodeau treatment in that, people have character concerns while also having injury concerns, which is why Derek Stingley was a top 3 pick, rewind 4 months ago. Now he's all the way at pick 12, but for what? Besides the injury, I think character concerns are something teams should do their due diligence on and are avoidable. I think it's very avoidable to draft someone that has character concerns. However, the injury concerns make sense. Just being, he's been hurt this year. I think he was hurt last year and balled out his freshman year. So, I don't know. I think that it makes sense why people are concerned with Derek Stingley, but I wouldn't be concerned with his talent for any reason. And I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are concerned with his talent. It doesn't make sense to me. Pick 13 is Houston Texans. If we go edge and address the trenches, it's Jermaine Johnson, no question. I do like Trent McDuffie here. I think Trent McDuffie is just a smaller Sauce Gardner. But what I would like to do, and what I think the Jets should do, especially if they're looking to trade Brandon Cooks, is take Jamison Williams here. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think they definitely need to get Davis Mills help, and they already got him a bookend tackle. I think Davis Mills is the truth, to be honest. Pick 14, it's either Jordan Davis or Jermaine Johnson for me. I think that Jordan Davis is a player that is created in a lab somewhere in Area 51. So we're going to take him. And then pick 15 is the the Eagles. And I think with this pick, we're going to take Jermaine Johnson. And then with the Saints on the clock, they do need a wide receiver very bad. However, they need a tackle because they no longer have what's his name? He just went to the Dolphins. Can't remember his name. I forget, but the guy who just went. No, what's his name? All of you know who I'm talking about. But he just went to the Dolphins. It's like the biggest. I think he was the best free agent in free agency, to be honest with you. Can't remember his name for the life of me. It's been a long day. So they need to replace him. They need a wide receiver, and they definitely need a quarterback. I think they're going to run with Jay Boogie this year, but it wouldn't hurt to put someone behind him to learn. So I'm going to go with. I'm going to take Charles Cross because I think it's absolutely the right pick. Because he's going to help out Alvin Kamara and Jameis Winston. Chargers very upset that he just went off the board. I think they're going to take Trevor Penning. They need a right tackle so bad. They have like Storm Norton. It's crazy that I can remember his name, but not. Dude, what is his name? Anyway, Eagles at pick 18. I think as much as they need a corner, and Trent McDuffie's here, who definitely is the player to take, I think they're kind of fed up with Jalen Reagor, being that he's failed to break out now for 2 years. He's cost them a ton of games, potentially 3 years. 2 years, because he was drafted with Justin Jefferson. Let me see something here real quick. They could take Olave, which is actually be a very solid pick. But I think cornerback, especially with how good their team has become, definitely is a valuable pick, especially with you don't know how long Darius Slay has. He had a rough year in 2020 and then kind of had a great year in 2021. You don't know how consistent that's going to be. I like getting Trent McDuffie, put him alongside Darius Slay, let him get better, let him develop. Yeah. And then pick 19. Now, I am very high on this player. I just don't know if the Saints would take him here, being with the receivers still on the board, especially Chris Olave. But I love Desmond Ridder for this pick. I think he would be a fantastic fit for the Saints offense, especially with Kamara as a very reliable check down. Yeah, let's do that. I think Desmond Ridder he's my QB too. I think he's so much better than everyone wants to give him credit. And he's arguably had the best offseason. Like, I know Malik Willis has generated a ton of hype, but Desmond Ridder has consistently played exceptionally well in the Senior Bowl, like in everything since the season ended, which he lost to Alabama in the semifinals of the national champion in the semifinals. So, I mean, what more do you want from the kid? Like, I don't know. I think he could be really good in the NFL. And if you've watched these mock drafts since I've been putting them out, you know I did not like Desmond Ridder. But then I sat down and watched some tape on him. I think he's legit. And he's a very underrated athlete, like super mobile. I think he rushed for like 600 yards or so this season. I don't know. I think he should be talked about way more than he is. Steelers at pick 20. It is baffling they have QB as a need all the way down here when they have Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know. I do not get the hype behind Mitch Trubisky. I don't get it. Like, he was a bust, and people bring up his like win-loss record like that matters. Like, dog, he threw six passes last year, and one of them was a pick. Maybe 5 passes, and one of them was a pick for the Bills last year. Like, I don't get why people think, oh, he played with Josh Allen, so he's good. Like, I don't see where this is coming from at all. But anyways, rant aside, I'm going to go with Zion Johnson here. I think Zion Johnson is probably the best guard in the class besides Ikemba Kwandu, if Ikemba Kwandu plays guard. But anyways, New England at pick 21. This, to me, is either Andrew Booth or Devin Lloyd, and I'm going to go with Devin Lloyd because I love Devin Lloyd. I think he's above and beyond the best linebacker of the class. He's just a very underrated coverage linebacker. Freakishly fast, great instincts, just everything. Like, he is the prototypical Mike linebacker, I feel like. And the Patriots need a replacement option for Deontay Hightower. Green Bay at pick 22. And I was talking to my brothers about this. And I don't think it's going to sound so stupid. But just hear me out. Like, you and I, you watching this and me doing this, we all know this should be a wide receiver. Especially since Packers have 2 first-round picks. But I don't think the Packers would do it. Like, I do not think they have it in them to take a wide receiver in the first round until they prove me wrong. They're like the worst front office in football. I don't see that they could actually pull the trigger on a wide receiver here. Even if he went tackle, Bernhard Ryman's the next best, and I'm pretty low on him. I think George Karlaftis. I like Boye Mafe, but dude, they're just gonna do something stupid. Like, I know they're gonna do something stupid. But we're gonna take I'm gonna take Treylon Burks. And the reason why I'm taking Treylon Burks over Chris Olave is because I've said this for literally since I've been doing this, which started back in like November, October. I do not think Chris Olave can be a 1 at the next level. I think he could be one of the best number 2s in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be a 1. I think Treylon Burks can be a 1. And the reason why Treylon Burks, draft that were moved Treylon Burks so far down their predictive board is because he ran a 4.5 40, which is so stupid. Like, that is so fast for someone. I hate people. Anyway, Cardinals at pick 23. I'm going to go with Andrew Booth. I think they desperately... Actually, no. I'm going to go with Kyer Elam. I really like Kyer Elam. I've been very high on him for a while now. I think the concerns with him are kind of silly, to put it that way. I think he's got exceptional size, exceptional ball tracking skills. And he's great in man coverage. I think he's just built to be a shutdown cornerback 1. People are concerned with his, I guess, fall off in terms of consistency of play. I am not. I think injuries have kind of derailed his college career. But I think if he's healthy, he could be one of the best corners in this draft. Pick 24 is the God, this mosquito will not leave me alone. Is the Cowboys, and I think I like Andrew Booth here. I don't know how much better he is than Trayvon Diggs, though, so I'm not going to take Booth here. For me, it's either Linderbaum or Boye Mafe. I think Linderbaum is just the perfect player for the Cowboys' offensive line. Like, they always have a good offensive line. I do like Chris Olave here as well, even though he kind of plays the same role as CeeDee Lamb. But, I mean, predicting, Jerry Jones will probably take the player that will generate the highest jersey sales, not who's going to make their team better. And I don't think I'm out of pocket for saying that. I think that's very, very, very realistic. Jerry Jones drafted CeeDee Lamb locked in his yacht. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's not far-fetched to think that. So for me, it's between Linderbaum, Boye Mafe, or Chris Olave. I'm gonna stick to my guns though and go with Linderbaum. I think at pick 25 or pick 24, that is a perfect spot for Linderbaum to go. 25 historically, in the Bills fans, you correct me if I'm wrong, but historically, in the past few drafts, the Bills have drafted upside and positional need, but with the most upside. And the most recent version of this in the first round was Gregory Rousseau, who fell because a lot of people were concerned with his ability to transition to the NFL with how raw he was. I think they're going to do the same thing with Andrew Booth. Tre'Davious White's coming off of an ACL tear. I think Andrew Booth could be a very good cornerback one, especially in a young division. I mean, he's going to probably get eaten alive by Tyreek Hill, but the Jets don't have a true number one. The Patriots don't have a true number one. Although the Patriots did just trade for Devontae Parker, which I do like that trade a lot for both parties. I think it was a very good trade. I think with Tre'Davious White there, he has a very good unit to learn from and very good coaching to learn from, and they will probably get the most out of Andrew Booth. I think the Bills are becoming the Ravens in that they could take these upside players and absolutely get the maximum amount of potential out of them. And if you could do that for Andrew Booth, you could get a very good player, in my opinion. Titans at pick 26. I think that this should be wide receiver. But with how deep the receiver class is, we're not going to go. I mean, I think the linebacker class is very deep too. So we're not going to take a receiver or a linebacker. We're going to take the best player, in my opinion, on the board for a positional need, and that is Kenyon Green. Dogs are trying to break into my room right now. I can't even hear myself think. Yeah, we're going to take Kenyon Green. I think, just make Derrick Henry's life a lot easier and just keep reassuring that offensive line. Bucks at pick 27. I think they're very upset that Green just went off the board. And it's always crazy to me that Devontae Wyatt just seems to fall through the cracks of these drafts, even though he's one of the best players. He's definitely his best player still available, no question. But yeah, for the Bucks, we're not going to go wide receiver. And let me just see. Which corner do they have next up? I hate this board. I really like Kyler Gordon and Roger McCreary. Let's see who they got here. Oh, Tyler Smith is actually a banging pick. Yeah, let's go with Tyler Smith. I think with Ali Marpet retiring, you definitely need to reassure that offensive line, and I think I think Tyler Smith is a fringe number one pick, like a first-round pick. I think he's a great second-round pick, but would not be a bad first. He's not an Alex Leatherwood first-round pick type of player, if you know what I mean. Packers, they need edge help, but I'm gonna go with the best player available, and it's also positional need. I'm taking Devontae Wyatt for the Packers. He's above and beyond the best player on the board, and they need to fill that position. So why not address your other needs late? You already addressed receiver, which you desperately need. Now you're gonna address another position of need. Devontae Wyatt. I think Devontae Wyatt is a little bit better of a pass rusher than Jordan Davis is, and a solid run blocker. Not nearly on the level that Jordan Davis is, but very good. Chiefs at 29. Now, this pick may piss a lot of people off, but I am going to do it anyway. I am going to take a player that I think is criminally underrated. I think he will be, if he goes here, he will be maybe the wide receiver one in fantasy, maybe look like one of the best receivers from this class, where it's how did he fall this far? And to me, bro, my guy, George Pickens out of Georgia. People, I say this every video, people forget that George Pickens was the consensus number one wide receiver in the class, and he got hurt. People myself included, if something is out of sight, it's out of mind. George Pickens didn't play all season, out of mind. We totally forgot about him. If you watched him play against Alabama, diving all over the place, spectacular catches, this kid is going, he is like a smaller, people compare Treylon Burks to A.J. Brown. George Pickens is a smaller A.J. Brown, in my opinion. I think he's so talented in one of the, just trust your boy here. Trust your boy. Pick 30 is the Chiefs again, and I'm going to go with Boye Mafe. I think he's way higher upside than Karlaftis has. And then, it's rough for the Bengals because there's no tackle. I mean, you could go Bernhard Raymond here. I haven't put Bernhard Raymond in the first round in a while. I think with them signing La'el Collins, corner is a bigger need than tackle or interior offensive line. But like maybe this is a spot where the Bengals trade back with someone who wants to get back in the first round. But tough one. Because it's like too early for anything else. You go linebacker. Kobe Dean's still there. I think I'm going to go with Bernhard Raimann, though. I think they do need, like, now that they have some nice reinforcements on the offensive line, Bernhard Raimann's a tackle that they could take and develop and still be very competitive this year. So I'm going to go with Raimann, and maybe they get the best out of him. Pick 32 in the last pick of the draft is the Lions. And we went edge. We could definitely take a safety here. But I'm going to take someone who, I mean, it's a crazy draft. Just because, like, Jahan Dotson or Chris Olave are about to fall out of the first round. I'm going to take Dotson, not because I don't like Chris Olave. Well, Krabs. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Just want to see what they say about. So, like, this is why I would go Dotson over Olave. And this kind of just reassured what I was thinking. Chris Olave, you could argue, definitely is a better receiver. But Dotson's skill set is a better complement to TJ Hawkinson and, more importantly, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Being that he's more of a perimeter intermediate type receiver. Whereas St. Brown is a slot receiver. And Chris Olave will most likely be playing out of the slot. So I'm going to go with Dotson here. Because I think Dotson really gives the Lions a player that they can definitely be a very, like, people make the argument that, like, oh, like, he's just like KJ Hamler. Not even close. Like, KJ Hamler just ran fast. If you watch Dotson, like, he is so, like, Pickens and Dotson, I know I am higher on than most people in the entire world. So I'm going to go with Dotson. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this mock draft. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you didn't like. Let me know what you did like. Let me know how you think I did. And if you're going to tell me I'm an idiot, that's fine. Just explain why and which team you're talking about. Because, I mean, like, I'm down to be wrong. We're all here to just talk about football and learn more. It doesn't have to be hostile. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!